how quickly this all goes. Hey, you guys. So we are here today with our Kimberly Geschke. She is our Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner. She recently was she just totally kicked it when it came to our Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business program. And one of the things that they were told right out of the gate was that whoever got the most points and the most students would end up winning what's called that Tutorpreneur Hero Award. And that is exactly what Kimberly did. So today,
Thank you.
Kimberly is getting her Tutorpreneur Hero Award.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think I mentioned this before that you were just like, you just started really like week 3, week 4. You just kept hitting that leaderboard every single week, whether it was first place or second place or whatnot. You just kept showing up and doing what you needed to do. And I didn't learn until afterwards that you were doing all of this while also carrying twins in your belly.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So congratulations. I mean,
thank you.
You have something that not everybody has, and that is like that determination to keep going no matter what. And whether it be, morning sickness or nothing stops you, girl.
Yes, lots of that.
Unbelievable. So many people use lots of things and make excuses as to why they're not getting students, but you didn't allow any of that to be the reason why you weren't going to be getting students. So we want to hear more about you and learn more about who you are. So tell us about what was learning like for you when you were a child?
When I was a child, I was actually gifted. So I was actually homeschooled from a very young age up till 8th grade.
Wow.
So I really wasn't in school because I actually placed out of a lot of the programs. So in a way it was good, in a way it was not so good because I didn't really have that social circle. Sure. I could mingle with kids my age. I mingled with kids like me, but it was like I didn't really, I was treated different. The moment I went to high school, I was like, oh, you're still here. These same kids I had, seen in grade school, they're like, oh my goodness, what happened to you? And, I explained to them I was homeschooled, and it was actually a great experience. So I learned a lot from that. My parents were great at that. So they each kind of focused on a subject, and they always would push me to do 2 grade levels higher than what I was. And I do that with my daughter, and I don't really push her. I just kind of see what she likes, and she's kind of gravitated that way, which is interesting. So, because she just loves to read. She started reading from a very young age, and we got her into reading programs, and she was reading 20 or 30 books a week, and it was shocking us. And we're like, okay, we'll just let her read. And now she's reading between a 1st and 3rd grade level, and so we just let her go, and it's a really cool thing to see.
Wow. So. Wait, this isn't your 2-year-old, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. She has a 2. Yeah. I know she has a 2-year-old. Yeah. Is this what she's talking about? That's incredible.
Yeah. It is. And, we brought up to her doctor, we're like, this isn't normal. Something's not right. And, because she'll speak to us, in sentences, and we're like, we don't really know how to respond because she's so young yet, but it's really cool to see.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Well, it looks like we just have the gifted family. And so I'm sorry for everybody else who went through the cohort of the last Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Masterclass. You were going against the gifted Kimberly Geschke, who has a savant 2-year-old. Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And so then what motivated you to want to be a teacher or tutor?
Well, I started tutoring in, I believe, 8th or 9th grade. I was doing AP. I was doing a lot of college prep at that point, and I really loved to tutor the other kids in my class. So my teacher would just ask me to do it, and it was a lot of fun. And I was that nerdy kid. So I love to stay after school. I love to learn. And so that's when I started really loving to teach. And that continued into college. And after that, it kind of waned a little bit. But then I got into more ESL, and I love that. So that was fun. And I thought, I had a lot of success with it my first year. And I said, I really could take this private. And even a lot of the teachers that I talked to, my first year teaching ESL, I taught 1,500 classes. I tutored about 500 students, which is quite a bit. And I was like, well, I'd love to do more. And so they're like, well, you should start your own business. They're like, do you love it this much?
Yeah. And then there you go. It's the other people that were kind of watching you and what you were doing that said, hey, keep doing this. You're definitely meant to do this.
Yeah, I didn't really think I was doing that well, because I saw a lot of the teachers working full time. I was doing part time as a stay-at-home mom. I had a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So I was working third shift,
yeah.
plus taking care of a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, that's good. And they're like, yeah, that's really good. So I said, okay. So they said, you should really, really go for doing this on your own. I was like, okay, I can try it out.
Yeah. And so you were a little nervous about it. It sounds like you're a little hesitant, a little bit nervous about kind of going about it all on your own.
Yeah. And my husband was really supportive. He just wanted to make sure it didn't conflict with family and whatever else. Because the hours I was working was really rough.
Right.
And he's like, well, you can do stuff during the day when the kids are in school. And I said, yeah, it's a good idea. And so I figured, why not? Because the third shift hours were pretty tough. So.
Sure. Yeah. Because you were working mostly with children in China, right?
Yes. I worked with kids in China, South Korea, Vietnam. And then I also did some private tutoring as well in the United States. So.
Oh, that is awesome. And so before you joined the Jumpstart, your online tutoring business masterclass, what were some of the things that you were struggling with going out solo on your own?
I think it was just a lack of information and just as well as information overload. Because when you're looking at going out on your own, there's so many people that want to help and they're not really the best fit. And you really have to kind of figure out where's your niche and where you really want to be.
Right.
And this program was perfect for that because I did everything. I read books. I reached out to coaches that were going to charge me like $5,000. And I'm like, okay, I don't know about this. I was like, okay. And my husband's like, well, why don't you do this on your own? And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I did. I built a website from scratch, and it was a lot of work. And tried to get the students on my own, and that was a lot of work. And so I said, yeah, I need a lot of help, just getting my head in the right direction.
Well, yeah, because you knew how to teach, and I think that's the case with a lot of us. Like we know how to teach or tutor, be able to help the students that we want to be able to help, but we've not been trained in how to have a business and
right.
How do you set up things that other people have already walked through? Like if you have problems with like collecting payments and those kinds of things, like, just even have other people to brainstorm with what do I do if this happens kind of stuff is really, really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really didn't have that kind of base. I was looking in like 20 different directions. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And my husband's like, well, where do you want to go first? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And he's like, well, you need to just find a straight direction, figure out what you want to do and start there. And I was like, that's probably the best way to go.
Right.
And this program was great for that. Because
it didn't cost you $5,000.
Oh my God, no, it was it was very reasonable, and the amount of information was unbelievable.
Did you
Yeah.
have any reservations about wanting to join the class before you joined it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, because at that point, we're, just kind of finding out we were, expecting. I had a 2-year-old, so there are a lot of things going on, and he's like, you know what, try it out, see what happens, see if you get some students, you know, no harm with that. And
Right.
I said, okay. I said, I'll figure it out and see. I didn't know if I'd get any students. And he's like, well, see, he's like, if you don't get any, it's okay.
Right. Right.
So,
You get your money refunded if you don't get any students. So it's really not even
right.
it's a win-win.
Right. Yeah. And he's like, okay, go for it. I didn't, he had a lot of faith with me in it, but, he's like, he's like, you're doing great with like the Chinese markets and stuff. He's like, let's see what you can do, and I said, okay. And he was really impressed, because he's like, how did you do this taking care of our 2-year-old? And I'm like, well, it'll prepare me for the twins.
Right. Right. Oh, they always say that the second one's easier, but what if your second one is a second and a third at the same time? I don't know. It's definitely going to be something that you're going to learn how to navigate. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you even had, like, in the middle of the program, your daughter got very ill.
She was. Yeah.
And you were almost scared that you were going to lose her?
Yeah, she was very sick for a couple weeks with a really bad viral infection. She was in the hospital for a while. So I took a little hiatus from there. I was still tutoring. I was still teaching. But yeah, I kind of took a break, and then I just hit the ground running back, when I got back. So
you surely did. And then what was the look on your face when you like came back and you saw your email? Was it your email that you saw where there were like 60 requests?
Yeah. And it was kind of shocking to me to see that many, because usually, I get a lot of requests every week just from, parents in China and South Korea. I used to get at least 50 to 80 a week. So it was very busy market. And to get that for the United States was very shocking.
Yeah. Wow. That is absolutely incredible. That is awesome. And then how many of those 60 ended up turning into clients?
I believe that was the 24 number that I had originally given you. So a lot of those I'm still doing part-time, still getting to know, and still in the beginning stages. But it's exciting. It's fun.
That is very, very exciting. And so what would you say was the biggest help as you went through the Jumpstart program? What was the biggest help for you as you went through it?
I think the support was great. Was great in the program. Your videos are amazing. So I think there's just a lot of clear instruction. There's a lot of great support, a lot of great accountability. Because for me, that was huge.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of person that, when I get something done, I can get it done. But I have to really push myself really hard. And so having that accountability was great. And Beth was one of my accountability partners, and she was great with really pushing me really hard to meet those goals. So
that's awesome. So we want to take a look at a lot of people want to know, like, what does a typical day for you as an online tutor look like?
Well, with kids, it all depends. You have kids, so you probably understand. If I have a babysitter, it's great. I can tutor as much as I want. So for me, it's flexible day by day, which is nice. A typical day, if I'm fully booked, I used to do tutoring from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then I'd have a sitter. And then I would do tutoring from 8 to 10 p.m. So it was a lot of tutoring. And sometimes during the day when the babysitter was watching her, I'd take some hours in the afternoon and do some there. So
Wow. So it can be all over the place, and then you can
mhm.
also organize it any way that you want to be able to organize
Yeah,
it, which is
yeah, and
the beauty of it.
that was great. Just being able to do it virtual was awesome.
Well, right, because as soon as you're done, you can just go on upstairs and be with her if you want to.
Yeah, it's great. And to be able to do both the United States and outside the United States markets is a lot of fun. I had my first group tutoring session this morning, so that was fun.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. How many students did you have on it?
three.
Oh, very
So
cool.
so it was a lot of fun. And the kids were a lot of fun.
Well, everybody always loves to know more about group tutoring, right? So
Yes.
tell us about how did these three students come from that original like 60 that had responded to you? Or was
Yes,
this separate?
yes.
So how did you convince them to join all at the same time?
Well, they were all, they had all had, similar, they had school together. So, and they
Hmm.
had, parents that were really close. So it's kind of great when you can kind of get those kind
Yeah.
of students that are neighbors, parents know each other, and it's, it's, it's a fun group for me to teach because then they're friends and then
Right.
and then they're so fun to teach. They're so fun.
Oh, that's so cool. And I bet they're excited to do it too.
Yeah, it was a boy and two girls. And he was, of course, the more rambunctious one. And the girls are a little more shy. So it made it a little more fun, you know.
You never know what you're gonna get. and how
Yes.
and how old are they?
They were around 8 and 9.
Great. And so what's the average? Do you have an average age of students that you teach with
Mm.
ESL?
Between 4 and 12.
Okay.
Normal is between 4 and 6.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the ages that I like to be able to teach with the whole reading thing. Well, we want to welcome Jim Shelley. Thanks. He says, hello, all, and congrats, Kim.
thank
And
you.
we also have Patricia Corcoran, and she's just blown away by just everything that you've done. Um,
Thank you.
she said, wow, so awesome. You are amazing. I love it. And for those of you who caught on a little bit later, we are here with Kimberly Geschke, who is winning our Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner. Woo! She ended up getting 24 students during the 8-week program, and she now gets to work with students not just from China and Vietnam and places like that, but she now also gets to work with students in the United States as well, along with having a 2-year-old and twins on the way. So, as you are going through that, I know lots of moms, they want to know this. So lots of moms want to know, you've got a 2-year-old, you've got, babies in the tummy. How in the world do you balance the job, the marketing, raising of the child, being a wife, and taking care of the household and all of that stuff? How do you organize all of that?
It takes really good time management.
Mm-hmm.
I would say first. I have two planners, so I actually have one I have with my husband and with all of our caregivers. I have another one just for my business. So I kind of keep them separately organized that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a list of to-dos, and I'm pretty motivated. I'm pretty ambitious that way. So and I guess it's being habitual too.
Yes.
It's developing really good habits. For me, when I delivered Sophia, the first month was very hectic because at the time, my husband was recovering from a lot of health issues, and I took care of her on my own. So I had to basically learn from the ground up by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a great lesson. Just I learned how to manage it from the get-go. And in some ways I feel more prepared, in other ways no. So it'll be different. Obviously there's two. But I actually love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my passions. It's what I love to do. I always love to keep improving. I always want to keep setting the bar a little higher. And I mostly just want to be a good role model for my kids.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I saw my parents model a really good, strong work ethic, and I saw things I liked, things I didn't like, and so there are things that I wanted my daughter to see in me, you know, that she could be and do whatever she wanted to do.
Yes.
And she didn't have to be defined by what the world wanted her to do.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's one of those traits that we definitely share there. So when we were going through and reading the Compound Effect as a group,
Great book.
Had you already read this one? Because you've been really living this strategy in your life.
My husband and I are very big, you know, we're really into goal setting books.
Okay.
We had been reading them for years, and
Yes.
my husband's a huge goal setter kind of person. And he originally got me into this, and he's like, Kim, you know, these are all these great goal setting things you can do with the baby. And I was like, really? But it was actually the best thing, because he, you know, when I think of how great sometimes I manage my time, he sets the bar like 1,000 times higher than me, and which is amazing. But I know what's great for me.
Right.
And I think it's trying to find that balance, that if this isn't good for you, then go where you're comfortable, and then slowly get there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times people will try to put us up to a bar and say that we need to go reach that, right? And I do think that it's great to set high goals, right? But it's not something that somebody else can set for us. It has to come from us. We are not going to be bought into it unless it's us that are really coming up with it. So on the very first, I don't know if you remember this, but the very first call we did on Motivational Monday, we had you guys set a good, better, and best goal. Do you remember what that good, better, and best goal was for yourself?
Goodness. I honestly do not remember at this point what it was. I know it was probably higher than what I'm thinking now it was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, our good goal was, hey, one student. That's our. If we do that, we have reached mission accomplished, because that was our goal from the get-go. Was your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to get one online tutoring student or a whole lot more, so that you can feel amazing every time you have a light bulb moment with one of your students. And I want you to have so many light bulb moments that you light up an entire city, and you did it. You lit up an entire country. Oh, I love it. So when you take a look at like that big picture of your business, what do you see it looking like in 5 years from now?
I see breaking 6 figures and breaking all standards of what I thought I can do. And I told my husband that, and he said, okay, Kim, just take it easy. And, because, with 3 kids and everything else, he knows how hard I work and my work ethic, and, that balance is true. You really have to keep it in key. And I'm one of those people where I will work very hard. And he's like, okay. And I said, no, I'll do it. And he said, okay.
So funny. That's how my husband was too, and I told him I'm going to be making more money than you.
And you did, and you're like, look.
All right. Now, truth be told, it did take me probably 8 years longer than I thought it was going to, but it happened.
You still did it.
I still did it. Yes.
Yeah. And I wanted to break all barriers with that. There were a lot of teachers I had met along the way that had low salaries and complained about low salaries. And, I had talked with them. I said, why not just go bigger? Why not just do it on your own? Right. And I said, I have nothing against teachers. I think teachers are amazing. I think tutors are amazing. Whatever way you want to teach is great. I said, but if you're not happy with where you are, then set the bar a little higher. Yeah. You can do it. And it's possible for you. Yeah. And when I saw that it was possible for other people, I said, you know what, I can do this. Mm-hmm. I can stay at home and I can do this. And he said, okay. He said, I'll see you do it then. And so, he's been really motivating with that. And he's excited. we're in the process of, buying bigger car for all the kids, and getting a bigger place, which is a lot to do in a couple of years. And he said, you know what? He's like, what's one thing you want in the new house? I said, well, I want a nice big kitchen, for our family to grow up in. I said, I want my office. Yes. And he said, okay. And he's like, good, Yeah. He's like, you're going to do it. And I said, yeah.
Yep, you are. You have such a supportive husband. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's been an amazing support system with it. Yeah, just this morning I was doing my tutoring, and it was really early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. and he wakes up pretty early too. And he walked in, and I'm in my little office, and he's like, I hope I was waking up our daughter. He just had the biggest smile on his face. He thought it was so cool, and he's like, you look like you had such a good time. And he's like, you're really good at what you do. And, it's really, really cool to hear that. And
yeah, you mentioned before, teachers kind of complaining about their low salaries. And I remember being in that situation where it's like, gosh, like teachers should get paid so much more and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, one of those people that I said, you know what? There is absolutely no reason why teachers shouldn't be making more money. Right. And I can't rely on the government or state legislatures or anything like that to pay me what I'm worth in this area. And so why not stand out and be something that is different and better so that I can get paid more for doing what I love being able to do. And today I love doing what I do more than what I ever did in the school system.
Yeah. And that's what I've told my husband, and he has a great job as well. And, anytime he ever, complains about his job, I say, I said, nobody determines your worth other than you.
Right.
And, and it's a really powerful thing to think about, because sometimes we base our worth off our money, off our coworkers, off of, what society may say we should do. And we rarely say, what's my worth? What do I want to do with my life? And what am I capable of?
Yeah.
And that's a really powerful feeling to have.
It really is. And to know that you can surpass any boundaries that are currently out there.
Sure, absolutely.
If you put your mind to it, it's absolutely possible. And if you want to stay in the classroom, by all means, definitely stay in the classroom, right? There's other ways that you can be able to add additional income streams. A lot of us as teachers, we've been kind of raised up since birth that you make money with one income. Who says that and why? When there's so many opportunities to make so many different income streams. Like your teaching job can be one of your income streams, but you can also have many other income streams along the way. So if staying in the classroom is something that you desire, you guys definitely do it. If getting out of the classroom and being able to tutor online is like your dream and your passion, I highly encourage it, because I've never been happier. Kimberly's never been happier.
Yes.
It's pretty incredible. It
is fun.
So when you take a look of reaching that breaking the 6-figure mark, which half of it is a mindset thing, right? Like once we can take care of our thoughts and reset them, we can absolutely get there. How confident are you that you're going to be able to make that happen?
It's already in my mind. It will happen. Happened. Because I've already told that to, my husband, and we're on the very same mindset as it. It's all about mindset. Mm-hmm. If you say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next month, I'll do it next year, it'll never happen.
Right.
And if you don't have your mindset in that direction, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And, we both have to set, our minds there to get there. And for my business, I said, if we go into a house, I don't have an office, what's the point?
Right.
I said, if it's not there, I can put my business anywhere, but it makes it real, and for me, that's a really cool feeling, because I always wanted to have my own business, and it was a big dream of mine to do that. And I wanted to do it while raising kids. And, I'd always heard it can't be done. And I'd seen it done. And I said, I want to be one of those. I want to be at home with my kids.
Yes.
And I want to be able to show them that mom is still here. Mm-hmm. And, she can still do her dreams, but I'm not sacrificing anything to do that.
Right. And then you can be there for all of those moments in their lives, right? That right. You want to be present for. Now, are you planning on homeschooling your own kids? Have you thought that far into the future yet?
I have. I have thought a lot about it. I plan to do a little bit of that. We're still making those decisions.
Yeah.
I'll probably send her to school unless she, for some reason wants to be homeschooled. Sure. For me, it was a great option. For her, it may be as well. She's already a few grade levels of what she's supposed to be. So we're just going to kind of, see how she does in school and go from there. And I plan to teach her at home as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe, teaching first starts in the home. Mm-hmm. I mean, it comes from the parents, and, a school can't really teach your child. They can teach them, but it starts at home.
It absolutely
does.
And
all those foundational things, it starts there. And
my kids now make fun of me now that they are in middle school and high school, and they say, "Mom, you're that mom in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid." That's me. Oh. Yep, sure am. I'm the one who. You betcha. All of their toys were all educational toys and everything. They had so many ABC toys. It was not even funny.
She has about a good 40 ABC books. Yeah. So I can relate.
So fun. So, what advice do you have for tutors that are kind of on the fence about getting started with that Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass?
I would say I had actually talked to someone earlier before this. Actually, it happened or before I came on live with you. Someone was talking to me about this very thing, and they're asking me. They're like, I don't know if I should join it, and tell me about your experience. So I was talking to her for a little bit. And I said, you know what? I said, do what's right for you. Mm-hmm. Do what's right for you in your business. Mm-hmm. I said, if you're not ready, you're not ready. Mm-hmm. I said, but if you're ready, jump in. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what can you lose by not jumping in?
Right.
And so, I hope I gave her lots of good advice with that. I have a lot of teachers and tutors that reach out to me, particularly in the ESL world, but it was kind of cool to have someone reach out to me about the tutoring program. So yeah.
So there you go. If you're on the fence, if it's a good fit for you, then jump in. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, like I find this really, really intriguing, because when we talk about like the Olympics, how many people who win gold medal don't have a coach? Any? I don't think so. They all have a coach. Somebody who can take a look at where they're at, can drive them a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, right? So they can get to that point where they can start breaking boundaries. Now, if you just want to keep doing what you're doing and stay where you're at, there might not be any need to get a coach for that, right? You're pretty good at that. But when we want to start breaking boundaries, we want to start making money on our own, start running our own business, we want to start, hitting certain income goals that maybe we've never hit before, we need somebody to show us what it is that we don't know, because we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that was part of my biggest thing, is that I had information overload, and, I was like, oh, I'm going to do a course here, and then I'm going to make a YouTube channel here, and then I'm going to do blogging here, and then I'm going to make the website here. And then and my husband's like, okay, he's like, what are you going to do first? I said, all of it. I'll just do it all, and we'll just see what happens. And it was so much work. And yes. I got so overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do first.
Right.
And that was probably the biggest hurdle for me. And this program really helped establish that foundation, first and foremost, because I was kind of putting the cart before the horse. I was like, I'm going to put all this in place before I've even thought about the foundation.
Right.
And yeah, that's why it wasn't working, because I couldn't see it. And
yeah, we have these great ideas, and then we start building things without it being even things that people want or need, and then all of a sudden we don't have the people that we want to be able to purchase. Yeah, I see that a lot all the time, and like lots of people they've got scattered goals instead of clear goals, right? It's like I'm gonna do these 10 things. And we talk about adding in additional incomes. It's like you have to do it one at a time. You can't build all of those additional income streams at one time, which is why I kept the goal simple. One goal, one student, 10 weeks or less. That's it, right? Like, let's keep our mind focused on that goal. I had some people who said, gosh, I really wish you would have jumped into, additional income streams and that kind of stuff. And I think I could have, but think of how many more people would have been overwhelmed if I did that for that one person, right? Yeah. It's like that's too much for people to be able to handle. They need to know, how do I get one student so they can repeat that over and over again until they have the amount that they want. And then they can continue to learn and grow with us in the Insider Secrets Club, and they can continue to learn about additional income streams and social media and all that great stuff. And they'll keep going on in the process. But yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us, Kimberly.
Yeah. Woo! Thank you.
We're so glad that you came, you saw, you conquered, you won.
Yes, thank you.
I'm thinking that now after this, you should go deliver twins or something. I don't know.
I got about 7 months to go.
You got some time to do that, and you will definitely get there. Well, it was a pleasure being able to get to know you and see you just really get some amazing success in your business. And congratulations, you are a rock star. And I know this isn't the last that we're going to see of each other.
Yes, you're an amazing coach, and yeah, I definitely plan to keep in contact. And you're a great inspiration to a lot of tutors out there, and you're a true blessing for what you do. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's awesome. I love what I do. I have a passion for doing it just like you do. And let's go break some barriers and let's just get some big numbers. What do you think?
They've already been done. Let's do it.
While having, raising our amazing families. I've got 4 kids now, and
oh my goodness.
we did decide. I cheated on one because we decided to take an exchange student. So, All right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining us, Patricia and Beth and Jim out there. And thank you, best of all, Kimberly. Bye, everyone.
Bye.